camera. All
right, cool. About 30 minutes in, he can finna start cutting up.
All right.
These little moments of magic.
Feels good, it fits right. We don't move too quick. Got hers, I get mine. We say, ooh, that's it. Say what I feel is a fact. She said she feel it right back.
Action.
All right, what's going on, guys? We're here with the WrightChoice Group. As you know, my name is Mike Self, and I have a special guest with me. One of my favorite people in the world, my homegirl, Shy Sanders.
Hi, guys.
Oh, you want to say your hashtag today?
Shy
Okay, that's what we practice. But anyway, as you know, we are agents with Combs Premier Realty here in Orlando, Florida. And we just wanted to come to you guys and speak about a few market updates.
Yeah.
So how you doing today?
Actually, I've had a long day. I had like a 7 a.m. meeting.
Mm-hmm.
I submitted like 5 offers today, 2 of which have already been rejected.
So we in these streets working.
These are the updates that we're about to bring to y'all. So.
Absolutely. So starting off real quick, as you guys know, interest rates have went up. As you said, they doubled?
Yes, from this time last year, I would definitely say that they've doubled because average interest rates this time last year were somewhere between 2.75 and 3.25, and I think they just released new interest rates this week that are about 6.5%, maybe a little bit less. So yeah, they've essentially doubled in less than a year.
So with them doubling, how has that affected your business?
So I'm just going to give the example. When they first started rising, I had a client that was shopping in the Tampa market, St. Pete area, and they were pre-approved for up to like $300, right? So that was on Monday. We literally submitted an offer for $300,000 on Monday. On Tuesday, they couldn't even afford $250.
Wow.
So they ended up having to get a co-borrower in order to get their buying power back up because just that 1.5% increase that one day knocked their buying power down like $50,000.
I've almost lost deals.
Yeah.
Especially new construction.
Yeah.
I had a buyer, she saw it, I think her interest rate went from a 3.25 to like a 5.25. And she was stressed. Luckily, they were able to kind of bring it down by buying down some of the points. Yeah. But even then, she was like, I'm not with it. Yeah. And we were closing. No, we're closing this month. Yeah. So, yeah, we had to have a conversation to try to figure out things and different ways to make it work out. But it's hard on a lot of people.
Yeah. I have a buyer that's under contract with new construction right now, too. But we're so far out that we can't even lock in a rate, even if we wanted to. So we literally just don't know what's going to happen because their build out is still like 3 months out.
Well, depending on the builder, too, with the locked in rate, some of them can be so high. Yeah. I have one to where if they do decide to do like almost I think it's like a 7 or 8 month lock, it's almost $12,000.
Yeah, it costs a lot of money to lock it in out. So they didn't even give us the option. They just said it's going to be way too much money, so we just going to have to wait. But it has affected a lot of people. A lot of people's buying power was diminished. So I stress these days, like making sure that your credit is where it needs to be, making sure that your debt is low, because those are the 2 major deciding factors here on whether you get a relatively good interest rate now and what your buying power is going to be, because there's no way to combat that other than, buy down a bunch of points or just pay a really, really high interest rate. Now, we're not going to have as much buying power.
We're not going to get too deep into it because there's a few terms that we just kind of threw at you. But with buying power, can you explain what buying power is?
Me? It's just how much house you can afford. So for me personally, I don't judge my clients' buying power based on their big number. We go by their whatever they want to pay monthly. So a lot of people say, "Oh, my budget." They start looking at houses and like they start seeing what houses cost, and they're like, "Oh, this is gonna be my budget." But then when the monthly payment rolls around, they're like, "Oh, this is too high." So anybody wanting a $350,000 house with a $1,400 mortgage payment, it just does not work that way. But that is the mindset of a lot of people. They want to say, most people, first-time buyers, want to say somewhere between $1,400 and $1,700 a month. But that's just
I was going to say, that's not a thing anymore.
It's not a thing anymore. So
what would you
managing expectations is a big challenge in this current market climate.
What would you say would be the average? Because I'm seeing around at least starting at $2,100 a month.
For what price point?
Just almost for anything decent.
Anything decent.
I know. Yeah. Okay, so we're in Orlando, Florida. So at least a decent. When I say decent price point, I would say for a 3 to 4 bedroom home, $350 and up.
I was gonna say $350 to $400.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're looking at what, almost about 24.
Yeah, at least $1,900 and up. Yeah. Well, with these new interest rates, we're looking at over 2,000.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
So where do you typically push your people to when they are not there yet?
Talk about as far as when they're not ready to buy, or when they don't have the money, or
they're ready to buy, they're able to get pre-approved, but they have this amount. So what are some of your recommended locations where you be like, okay, well you probably can't afford anything within the Orlando city limits, but here are some areas that might support that budget.
No, absolutely. So, one of the main things I actually push, which is a little iffy because it throws off the buying power too, like condos or townhomes. Townhomes are a little more easier than condos because condos have 2 fees usually. So, for example, I got one that got a $300,000 conventional loan. But if they were to go to a condo, they can only use 210.
Yes, because the HOA fees are astronomical.
Correct. So I usually try to do things that are more so on the outskirts. I'll usually try to find something that has a short-term lease within the HOA, so that way if we need to use something such as what is the company called that we were just on the call with? Ribbon. Thank you. So we need to use something like with cash offers to try to win over the offer, which we can talk about Ribbon later. But so I try to tell them basically be open, because we all know that anything that's going to be in the city is going to be a lot more.
And it's going to be a lot more competition too. Yeah. So I have a couple places that I like to push people to because I'm from DeLand, so I'm pushing everybody to a couple of new construction communities that are over there because they're just a little bit more competitively priced. St. Cloud has gone through the roof over the past year, but areas like Davenport, Kissimmee still have some pretty affordable options. So.
And Point Siena
too, especially if you're looking for townhomes. Like Point Siena does have a very affordable selection there. So, I mean, that just kind of brings us to our point, though, that buyers right now, they have to be savvier. They have to be smarter. Like, they have to be open to location, like flexible when it comes to commute times. A lot of people are working remotely, so a lot of people are able to kind of live a little bit further than they would have liked in order to get, the type of house that they want that is going to be comfortable for their budget. But they also have to be flexible with the actual offers that they're putting in. They have to be savvy with the types of programs that they're able to use and making sure that your agent knows about these programs so that you can take advantage. I think that is a big telltale sign about like current market climate and how creative you have to get to kind of get what you want.
So speaking of creativity, as an agent, if you had a new construction buyer who interest rate just went up, and they're like, man, I cannot take this payment. What's one of the first things that come in mind that you would tell them to be able to hold on to what they have and to still, be beneficial for them?
I just tell people to look at it for the long haul, because if you think about it, whatever that payment is going to change to, it probably still wouldn't run you that if you were to rent that same house. So I just shift the perspective, because when people haven't bought a house yet and they don't own yet and they are kind of looking at the numbers and they're freaking out, and I know this because I literally just went through it myself last summer, and they're like, oh my God, I don't know if I can afford this. It's like you got to think about it in a way that is not what you're used to. So when we look at how much money we have to pay to live somewhere, we're like, oh my God, I'm never gonna see that money again. So like in our heads, we're like, oh, that's just way too much for me to pay. But when you shift the perspective and you make them understand, like, this is your money that you're basically giving back to yourself. Because when you purchase something, it appreciates in value, versus when you're renting something, you literally are never going to see that money again. Like your landlord is not going to come up to you and give it back for Christmas. Like, you're never going to see it again. And as far as buying a house is concerned in a market as healthy as this one, because this market it might be crazy, but it's a healthy investment vehicle right now, because you can buy a house today and in 6 months you got $70,000 in equity in that house. So even if, there's still, shaky jobs right now, like, the job market is a little topsy-turvy. Even if something did happen down the road, you've accrued equity in that house and you can use it. It's your money. Like, there's different ways of pulling the equity out. So, God forbid you do fall on hard times, you still have options. Whereas if you were paying that same amount in rent and you fell on hard times, there would be nothing there to save you. There's no net there.
Correct. And if all else fails, you can sell your home.
You can sell it.
If you want to sell your home, my telephone number is.
You can sell it.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. So again, being creative, being innovative in this market, you need agents such as us that kind of have a workaround.
Yeah.
Even when it comes to winning offers, which that's a whole nother conversation as well.
Next installment.
Is there any other market updates that you can think of that's currently going on now? Because I know we have the interest rates. We know that home prices are going up, which is huge because, everybody's talking about a market crash.
Yeah.
But this is a lot different than it was.
Yeah. I think that in Central Florida specifically, we're going to have to be careful, because Florida is one of the most popular states for outside investors to come snatch up all of our inventory. So when people say they're competing with these cash buyers, a lot of these buyers aren't even cash. They're just, they might be conventional with really strong, terms. Cash on hand and strong terms and no inspections, no appraisals. So we're seeing that a lot too, is people are just waiving all the contingencies. Like, I just want the house. I don't care what condition it's in. I don't care what it's actually worth. I'll give you $50,000 on top of whatever that appraisal comes back at. Just give me the house. So a lot of investors do stuff like that too, where they're not straight cash, but they still have cash in their pocket to make their offer stronger. So I just think that the market's gonna crash. Like, we need to just stop saying that. Yeah. Because the demand is there. The demand is there. So for every one house, there's an average of like 15 or 20 offers going out. So it's like, when is it gonna crash? Yeah,
and the thing too, if it does crash, and if people are fighting for homes now, what will happen when it crashes?
It's gonna be a mad dash. It's gonna be a mad dash.
The same thing.
What do you think? Like, what is your biggest takeaway from what is happening right now in this market?
Honestly, what's happening right now, inflation is killing everything. This whole war situation, that's a whole other story. It's killing everything. But I just feel when it comes to actually buying and selling, just do what you got to do. I don't think there should be any type of wait time.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're ready now, buy now. I do think it's going to be beneficial. I don't believe that home prices are going to decrease anytime soon. Because I know a lot of people are scared to buy because they're like, oh, well, it's going to crash. The value of homes are going to decrease. I'm going to wait. Y'all said that 2 years ago.
But see, this is my thing with that too. Even if the market did crash, it's crashing while you're in your house. Unless you planned on selling your house a year after you bought it, you would be able to ride out that wave, because it's gonna come back up. It's real estate, that you don't get any more of it. And when there's a limited resource, it's always gonna be competition there. So let's say I bought my house last year. Let's say the market crashed tomorrow. I'm not moving tomorrow. So by the time I do get ready to move, the market will be back up, because everything is cyclical. And even when we say crash, I think we should use that word loosely, because I don't think that there will be a huge dip in price anyway. Even if there's a slowdown or whatever, I don't think there's going to be people want an 08 to happen. They're waiting for an 08 to happen, and I just don't think that that's ever going to happen again.
Absolutely. But we'll get more into the crash a little later. Because as you know, guys, we will talk your head off. But we just wanted to come to you, just give you a quick little update. And we'll continue on doing this more, within the future as time passes.
Yes.
But for more information, our handles will be below. Our contact information will be below. We hope you guys enjoyed this segment. Any last words before we go?
Buy now and sell now.
Buy now and sell now. Crazy self. All right, guys. Well, we appreciate you. Thank you for joining us here at the Right Choice team. And we are out. See you later.
Bye.
Moments of magic.
dig it if it's right. We don't move too quick.